All right, hey everybody, welcome to the next or another episode in Culture Eats Everything. We know it's been a while, so we apologize, but really excited to have an executive director on here from Hot Atlanta, David Brooks. So, David, tell us a little bit about you. What do people need to know you?
Oh, well, yeah, you were. I'm out of St. Anne's Terrace here in Atlanta. I've been in this community actually almost 20 years. I've done everything from driving the bus to washing the dishes, and really from the ground up, seeing it from the inside out.
Hmm.
Um, I took over as ED in 2023, and it's given me a unique perspective because now I'm getting the what happens in the background, but I already have a full oversight of what everybody's day looks like. The biggest thing we try to focus on here is hoping the residents love living here and the employees love to come here to work. You know, we have a lot of great tenure here. Most of our employees are longtime employees, been here 4 or 5 to some 30 years. So
Wow.
we're really big about building the community trust and having a purpose. Outside of work, I have a wife and 2 small kids that take up most of the time.
Mhm.
When I not with them, I like to watch college football and golf a little bit.
Heck yeah, yeah. Well, you became the executive director, and it sounds like you've done a good bit of everything else there.
Mhm.
What was it like making that change to going from someone who's probably lives and breathes St. Anne's in a lot of ways, you've worked it for a long time, to becoming the person in charge?
It's a you think you know it all until you actually get in those shoes, and then quickly realize it takes a village to do an organization, and the seat isn't exactly what everybody thinks it is. As a coming a frontline employee to director level and kind of working your way up, there's a lot of things that you learn, but you tend to think, well, why is the reason I stayed here so long, and why haven't
Mm,
I left? And a lot of that comes with the culture we already had, and so it's kind of me trying to maintain that culture and improve on that culture because mission statements and strategic plans are important, but the everyday decisions people make and how they treat one another is what makes a place unique.
mm,
And you can feel it. Families can feel it immediately when you walk into a door. And my thing is to try to pass along, just the general environment, family environment. That's kind of what we Southern hospitality is
yeah.
how we strive here. So it's just trying to be intentional every day and be visible. And it is amazing what you learn when you step into that role. It's a lot
Hmm.
different than what you expect.
What's been maybe one of the big surprises about it or big challenges in it?
Well, one thing is you don't, when you're used to being day to day and actively in it, you kind of start missing the one-on-one environments because when you get into this role, you kind of adopt to everybody's problems, and you
Mm,
got to realize when you see the grand picture, that little problem may not be to the organization that big of a deal, but to them in that moment, it's a big deal. So
mm,
you need to take that and realize that, hey, this is a big impact to their day, whether it's residents or staff alike. So you kind of got to be intentional, I would say, and meet people where they are, you know.
mm. Yeah, that's good because it could be easy to get detached when you're in the office and not frontline anymore. So taking it
Yes.
seriously, that's good. What
Hmm.
you mentioned that word culture and kind of maintaining, like there's been a good culture. It's part of
Oh,
why
yeah.
you've been there for a long time. How do you
Mhm.
maintain culture?
You got to, well, one, you got to surround yourself by the right people. You can really know if you don't have the right person in the role. And I tell a lot of our management that when they're hiring, to be intentional in that is hire happy people. Happy people you can train for the
Mm,
skills. If they come in miserable and have every skill in the world, misery loves company, and that
mm,
becomes an effect. I can honestly tell when a person's going to last here a long time or if they're not. And it's all, usually if they're happy.
mm.
If they bring that nice attitude, happy staff makes happy residents and makes life
Hmm.
easy on everybody. So
Yeah, so
really,
like, sorry.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was saying, my brain was going right to like recruiting and vetting candidates. Like, are you guys trying to hire happy people? How do you do that?
Honestly, it's when they come in for the interview, we all wear the same uniform. So, other than our marketing team usually dresses a little different, but we all have the same exact uniform. So you don't know if you're talking to the executive director, you're talking to the director of resident services, or you're talking with somebody that just in housekeeping,
I
and
like that.
everybody is important, so how
Mhm.
you treat people, not just because of title, it is a big thing. You could be talking with me and you wouldn't know what position I'm in. You can
Mhm.
it's just really getting everybody's perspective, and the frontline staff really knows. They're really protective of our residents, and they know real quick if somebody's going to be a fit.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I don't know that I've worked with too many clients and organizations that everyone wears the same uniform. I like that. How long have you
Mhm.
been doing it that way? I assume that's an intentional
Uh,
decision.
yeah, in 2023, when I came in, I wanted everybody to look the
Huh.
part. It looks good, and then in the winter times we have quarter zips. I mean, we do look still good, look professional, but
Yeah.
everybody's dressed the same way, so you won't know if it's a maintenance person or you
I
won't
love
know
that.
if it's ED. I mean, it's just basically we're all the same. We're all in this together.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I like that. That's interesting. Well, so maintaining culture and like what's been good has been part of it sounds like your strategy as you've been leading the organization. Why is culture so important?
Oh man, that is it's everything. It's everything. It comes to whether a prospect wants to move in, whether a resident wants to stay, whether that longtime staff doesn't leave you if you can't compete for the few extra dollars. Everything you're about. It's senior living's changed dramatically since COVID, as we lost a lot of professionals in the field. But I mean, you kind of you deal with everything, but people are attracted to the feeling you give, like what the warmth that organization provides. I mean, lately I'm in the nonprofit sector, so for
Hmm.
nonprofit organizations, you always kind of look at for profit, and it's almost kind of like the evil world,
Hmm.
because we're not corporate. We're people come here to stay, and it's not going to turn over management or ownership wise. But lately, we've adopted a couple new directors from that level, and they give you a whole nother version of speaking. But we honestly would not probably have been able to compete salary wise with it. But the warmth that we gave and the work life balance that we provided, we got some really good people in those roles. We had a couple
Yeah.
retire, and so it's everything. It's everything. Whether they're going to move in, whether they're going to stay happy, or whether you're going to keep that staff.
Yeah, so keeping the staff around retention, but there's like a competitive hiring advantage to yeah, being a great place for people to come work
Hmm.
in an enviable workplace. Well, in all of your years, and I mean, probably all of your years of leadership, but especially the last three when you became in charge and got promoted.
Hmm.
And now everyone's looking to you to answer things, and their problems are your problems, and figure it out and lead them in the future. What's been a big impactful lesson that you've learned through over the last 3 years, or even just a big mistake that's really reshaped how you approach things?
Really, it's kind of the biggest lesson is balancing. Now you have to think 5 years down the road, but you also need to, or maybe actually 15, 20 years down the road. But you also have to know there's those daily things that do crop up. So balancing those daily operation. But the biggest learning experience, I'd say my first year fully, I realized I was sitting around the room and it was just basically whatever I said goes. It's just when you're having meetings, nobody's jumping in and helping. They're just going with what you are. And I'm like, that's really not a safe place to be. You can't be the smartest guy in the room. You hire
Hmm.
certain people for those skills, and you have board members that have unbelievable skills. So invite that in and embrace that and just establish look, I need help. Be
Hmm.
able to ask for help. I got to say the first year was very, very stressful, but it's gotten much better by trusting. You can't micromanage. You have to let people run with it. Just because they don't do it the same way you do doesn't mean it doesn't get done and it doesn't get done well. And oftentimes you will, if you trust somebody, you'll find out they do it very well.
Hmm.
So I would say that was the biggest challenge, realizing at one point, hey, why I can't be the only one coming up with these answers. These people have skills that they're better at me at. So,
Yeah.
let me have it. I can take
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
then also that first year you want to say yes to everything, and then you realize quick, look, you gotta say no. Sometimes you gotta be the bad guy and be comfortable and having uncomfortable conversations.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. So that's interesting, like really embodying just being coachable and open.
Hmm.
Because a lot of times, I mean, every CEO, executive director, every person deals with their own critic and sense of imposter syndrome, but it can be
Yes.
uniquely acute at this level. And so, yeah, what helped you make the shift to be open and ask for help and input, and not try to take it all on your own? Because a lot of people don't get there.
Oh man, sitting in that, it's a lonely place. And then
Mm,
realizing, hey, I gotta allow people in, and then talking with other leaders.
hmm.
We are a part of Leading Age Georgia, and it was really big in just calling and talking to other EDs and seeing why they became so
Yeah.
successful and what worked for them.
Hmm.
And then really just when employees and the board, when everybody comes aligned on an idea, it's so much better to celebrate when it becomes to fruition,
Yeah.
you know.
Hmm.
And they help you if it doesn't go exactly planned. They know the vision on why we have to go this way, I would say.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Well, if you were to rewind to David Brooks 20 years ago, were you
Mhm.
aspiring to be the executive director? Is that something you wanted? How'd you get here?
No, no, honestly, I was back then, I was actually finishing up school online. The last few, I just moved back to Atlanta from Alabama, and I just needed a part-time gig. And
Yeah.
then every time I tried to leave, they offered me something else, kept me coming
Hmm.
back. And then there were a couple times I was really close to taking an ED job before, and then I realized, it may pay more, it may, but I'm learning a lot here. It's a very good place, and it just provides a great work-life balance.
Hmm.
There was really close steps. Do I want to go into the corporate world and take off? But then you realize, and a lot of it I have to give the board and the people involved in founding the place were so very kind, and you don't find
Hmm.
that everywhere.
Hmm.
So more money may not be always the best thing. The grass isn't always greener, so to speak, because sometimes you hear horror stories from
Yep.
places. So
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
There's been plenty of people who leave for the greener grass to come back to realize it's never as green as it seems from afar. What would you say to someone out there who maybe they're not aspiring to be an executive director or CEO, but they definitely want more influence and to stay rooted where they are. Or maybe they are aspiring. They really want to be in charge of an organization at some point and lead the helm. What would you say to them?
Well, there's a couple of things. I try to say I've helped several college graduates and even high school graduate people to say get into this field because it's not known. And the baby boomers are coming, so it's a growing field. There will always be jobs, and
Mhm.
a lot of companies um, love their own and promote within. So I try to say, hey, get into it, just experience, make that your part-time job and see how you like it. Because a lot of people realize, hey, I really love seniors, and it's a different thing because everybody thinks senior living's a nursing home, and that's not the case. What I would say, people, is dive in and build that equity within an organization. Build that human capital to where you become invaluable to them. And if it feels really good, if the culture is great, that's somewhere you want to be. And if you love seniors, if you love people, you'll love seniors. There's no difference. They want their dignity too. They're just maybe a little bit slower than they used to be, but there's a history book in every person. But those aspiring to it, is a lot of people come in and they want to be the boss and they know better. I'm sure I was very guilty. I had a great mentor that helped me, and I'm sure I was very judgmental and wanting to dive in. But take a step back and just kind of learn as as you go. But you gotta spend some time. You see a lot of people that bounce around from job to job to job to job to job to job. But if you build that equity within an organization, you'll get rewarded for it. But I
Yeah,
guess my
good.
biggest thing would be is trust the process and don't come in guns ablazing. Learn why things are the way they are, and then you may then input your ideas and things. But I'm
Hmm.
sure I was a very eager early 20s and thought I knew everything. But learn the organization first. There's a
Yeah.
method to the madness, and then once you build up that human equity, I would say, then your ideas will get valued and you'll strive to it. But it is a lot of fun. Senior living changes. There's something new every day. When you think you've heard it
Mm.
all, something else comes up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, um it's just such great dignity in serving and honoring the seniors in our culture.
Mhm.
Like it's a super cool field and industry for people. Well, that's great advice though, because I feel like there's a lot of talk around how to manage and lead well Gen Z, and I feel like a lot
Mhm.
of it in the conversations that I've had and what I've been seeing echoes exactly what you were just saying, which is help young people um, see the long term of like being
Mhm.
rooted, building skills and expertise that they can translate into more autonomy and things later in life. But
Mhm.
yeah, people jump ship too quick.
Mhm.
And too often, evidence of something off in a culture or a job or it's not feeling perfect, people feel like that means we should hit the eject button and go to the next place to
Mhm.
realize now, usually we staying somewhere long term has the ability, not always, but has the
Not always,
ability
but
to play out really well for you. And
yeah.
sounds like you guys have done a
And
good job of that. It's been your trajectory. It's what developed you, which is
mhm.
great.
Yes, and it's kind of like like you alluded to. It's not always you don't give it enough time to realize if it's the fit. And in just my experience, there's so many people that have gone that didn't invest and moved on and didn't like it, and they continue to bounce and bounce. But you can't have everything all at once, just play the long game and know this industry, I wish it would go up, is not going anywhere. There's places opening their doors all the time. It's growing. The biggest generation we've had, the baby boomers, are coming, and it was crazy. They've changed. We used to have 40s parties, and now we're having 60s parties, and pretty soon they'll be playing classic rock in these
Right, right.
concerts.
Yeah,
It's a
70s
different
party.
different
Hmm.
organization, a different time. So it'll be
Yeah.
a lot of fun, is for the
Yeah.
young generation coming in.
I love it. I love it. Well, I also love that you're recruiting because you guys need more
Hmm.
people and it's
Always.
huge for people to consider it. So I appreciate that. Well, give us what's one parting thought you would give to even people outside your industry in the importance of culture and leadership and what you get to do every day that you call work.
Well, I kind of touched on it with the seniors. They expect more.
Mm,
Technology, meaningful programming, got to have beautiful spaces, genuine relationship. They all want these things, but at the end of the day, it becomes to how valued they feel. How
right.
do they interact with you in that moment? How do they engage with you? And transparency goes a long way. Honesty goes a long way. It's
Mm.
better to just admit a mistake, which is hard for anybody to do, but it's better to just say, hey, I messed up
Mm.
and find out from that than it is to catch a mistake down the run. But I'd just say transparency and be genuine, be who you are.
I love it. Yeah, no, that's great. Be open, be coachable, be honest.
Hmm.
Love it. And
Hmm.
that's like such like almost could sound cliche because it's so obvious, but I think it's easy to underestimate the value of that, especially day after
Hmm.
day, long term in your life. Just be humble.
Yeah. Hey, I'm sorry goes a long way. Goes a
Yeah,
long way.
transparent. I'm sorry. That's good. That's good. That's good marriage advice, parenting advice, leadership advice
Yeah.
across the board, relationship advice. All right. Well, David, thank you so much for your time and taking the time to share a little bit about what you guys do and what
Hmm.
you've learned and how you're doing it. And we hope for all of you listening, this was an encouragement and a reminder. Be transparent. Remember, sorry goes a
Yeah.
long way. And we'll see you next time. Take care.
Thank you.